Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us at 7. I'm Tracey McCain.
And I'm Nicole Nalepa in for Caitlin Newglow. And the UConn women are waking up champions this morning.
That's right. The UConn Huskies taking home their 12th national title, defeating the University of South Carolina 82-59.
And we'll have all the highlights for you. But first, we do want to get over to meteorologist Jill Gilardi to see what kind of weather we're dealing with when we welcome the women home later today, Jill.
Well, the weather blues, we just cancel it out by wearing just the blues in support of their big win.
There we go.
Yeah, we're just thinking positive, and yeah, we have some colors on the map though that it's like, what kind of precipitation type do we have here? Well, we did have a report up in the Colebrook area of a little sleet mixing in, as we expected, and then primarily everyone else just seeing scattered periods of rain. So yeah, a little damp start out there, allow a little extra travel time, but in terms of like slick conditions, not getting reports of that. But Todd, one of our weather watchers in Colebrook, did report a little bit of sleet. Now the intensity kind of varies between very light to up to moderate, where we're seeing some of that moderate rain. It's Naugatuck to Cheshire up through Meriden, but again, nothing too extreme, just allow a little extra travel time due to these damp conditions. Visibility not horrible. There are a few spots a little bit wavering down to 3 miles in, say, Waterbury. It's chilly out there in the 30s this morning and low 40s, and the temperature is not going very far, so you're going to have to wear that thicker coat. Of course, you'll need the rain gear off and on throughout today, so highs only in the low 40s, significantly below average. We'll let you know when the lovely old sunshine will make its appearance again coming up in the next 10 minutes. For now, let's get an update on traffic with Caitlin. Good morning to you.
All right, good morning, Jill. Good morning, everyone. 7:02 here on your Monday. If you're just waking up with us, we do appreciate that. If you are planning ahead for this afternoon, first alert that we're going to be welcoming the UConn women back home. So they're going to be flying back into Bradley International Airport. They'll take 91 southbound to 291 eastbound, then to 84 eastbound off of exit 68 in Tolland. That's Merrow Road 195, where they'll head to the UConn Stores campus and arrive at Gamble. Doors open at 4 o'clock. Marcy Jones will have much more on that coming up in just a few minutes. But if you're heading out right now, also dealing with the first alert here. East Haddam, we still have this road closure from last week. Hopyard Road remains blocked off between Foxtown and Jones Hill roads because of a washed out roadway there. And in West Hartford, 84 eastbound between exits 41 and 43, the right and center lanes are blocked off. We had an earlier incident involving an overturned tractor trailer. You can see there are remnants of that here. Back up on the roadway this morning. This is going to take some time to clear. State police say non-life-threatening injuries were reported, and unfortunately, we're going to be dealing with some delays as you're heading in towards the capital city. Let's quick check at your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
All right, thanks, Kate. Now at 7:03, it is a very exciting weekend we're coming off of for the Husky fans after UConn took home their 12th national championship, making a history for all. And the University of South Carolina, they did put up a valiant effort yesterday in Tampa, but UConn prevailed 82-59.
Your reporter, Marcy Jones, starts our team coverage from Gamble in Stores.
No better start to the week than this right here. It doesn't even feel like a Monday. Of course, it's been since 2016 since the Huskies went all the way, but there are just so many reasons why this victory is extra sweet. Let's hand things over to our sports director, Joe Zone.
There is so much to celebrate when you win a national championship. And let's face it, who knows how to do it better than the UConn women? So for their 12th, again, a huge gathering. Former players, alumni, family, friends, all want to get a piece of this 12th national championship.
So many emotions. Gratitude was the main one, of the journey, of the ups and downs, of everything that it took to get to that point, and just overwhelming joy, and just so happy for every single person who was a part of this journey.
It was Paige being emotional, which she doesn't get very emotional. She does not. But this particular time, she was, and like I said, I just think this is. It's hard when it's over.
And I feel like for the past 6 months, we've been working our butts off, grinding every single day, and it's pretty special that we're able to end our season this way.
Has it sunk in yet just what it means to be a national champion?
Honestly, it's surreal, and I
I just can't believe it. I'm still in shock, but I'm super grateful, super happy to be here, super proud of my teammates.
If it wasn't for Coach and CD and all the coaching staff for bringing me here all the way from Egypt, it means a lot.
With the UConn Huskies one last time here in Tampa, your reporter Joe Zone, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
Fans and students alike are expected to gather at Gamble Pavilion today for a big welcome home rally. The one caveat, you do have to get tickets ahead of time online. However, doors open at 4. The team is expected at 5. We're going to hand things over to Roger Susanna. Now, Roger, all this basketball coverage, are you rediscovering your hooping dreams?
Right, of course, these champions deserve more than just one celebration. The biggest party could go down this weekend.
And your reporter, the biggest party guy around here, Roger Susanna, is taking us to the streets in Hartford as the city gets prepared to host the Huskies Victory Parade.
Good morning. You know, I have to admit, I am a little bit embarrassed today. I was so fired up to learn that I was going to be covering the championship parade here through downtown Hartford. I grabbed my UConn basketball. I was ready to go, baby. Then I figured out that I was probably at least, 5 days early. But that's all right. I love to beat the crowds, and I've got a great spot here. And one thing we learned back in 2016, that's the last time the UConn women won the title, is that there's going to be a whole lot of company joining us here in downtown Hartford. This is video from that championship parade. We know we're in for another wild ride. The only question, though, is when. Organizers have not posted an exact date or time, but we do know that back in 2016, the parade through downtown Hartford stepped off the following Sunday, and experts say we could be looking at a similar time frame. Brian Foley, the retired chief of detectives for the Hartford Police Department and current Town manager who has helped plan these kinds of events in the past, tells us that government and law enforcement leaders probably began discussing this celebration weeks ago.
I'm certain today, anyone involved from the state police, the Capitol Police, and of course the City of Hartford Police are all coordinating the event now. People that march and like teams and youth basketball teams and such in the city that come out and that actually get to march in the parade. So it's a great event. It takes a lot of quick planning. If they needed to do it this Saturday or Sunday, no problem.
And this year's parade could look just a little bit different because it's actually the UConn women's first title in the NIL era. That means, along with the championship team gear, we also could see some merchandise honoring individual players. Certainly well-deserved, ladies. Reporting in Hartford, I'm your reporter, Roger Susanna, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Roger. And now moving on to some more headlines. The markets are still reeling from tariffs. The House is expected to move forward with President Donald Trump's agenda, and Congress is looking at coffee.
Washington senior national correspondent Deborah Alfarone has your week ahead in Washington.
President Donald Trump returns to Washington, where Congress is expected to take up his legislative agenda. The Senate passed its budget resolution early Saturday morning. That's known as reconciliation. The process allows the Senate to pass tax and spending bills with only a simple majority versus the typical 60-vote threshold. Reciprocal tariffs are set to go into effect Wednesday. The president announced taxes on imports last week. Then the stock market had its worst back-to-back days since early in the COVID-19 pandemic. The president says the tariffs are here to stay. On Tuesday, a bipartisan group will be up bright and early to launch the Congressional Coffee Caucus. Its goal is to promote coffee's impact on the economy and on your health. In Washington, I'm Deborah Alfarone.
Well, we're getting a little report. It's just the only one we've been seeing across northwestern Connecticut in Colebrook. Todd, one of our weather watchers, saying a little bit of sleet mix again. Otherwise, you're just seeing scattered areas of rain. It's light, and then you get some bands that are a little bit more on the moderate side, where we're seeing more so of that. That would be across the northern portions of, say, New Haven County into northern Middlesex, and so a little burst of some moderate. So just careful if you're about to head out on the roadways, because it is wet out there. It's not going far. The temperature that is today, highs in the low 40s, so at least 10 degrees below average. Have the umbrella with you. Off and on chances for showers. Eventually, this dreary weather will back off. We'll be timing that better weather for you coming up in the next 10 minutes or so. So stay with us.